Hello and welcome to another Blender Cookie tutorial. This is David Ward, and if you might have seen my recent YouTube time-lapse video on a little house elf from like the Harry Potter series, that's kind of what we're going to attempt to do here. So maybe we can do it a little better. I wasn't real 100% satisfied with how that came out, but I thought it looked decent. But we'll see what we can do here. Starting out with the default cube, we're going to tab into edit mode, W, subdivide, and let's give it 5 subdivisions there, and then bump the smoothness up to where it's fairly round. Let's go into front view here, and a little bit more. That'll work right there. Okay. Now let's turn off, excuse me, limit the selection to visible, turn that off, and we'll select all these guys here, and delete them, and then add a mirror modifier right there. And now we'll start kind of just shaping this guy out. First thing I want to do though is turn off the grid floor and the XY axis because, as you know, I find them distracting. So anyways, so we'll go to side view and we're going to kind of start shaping this guy out. Let's go ahead and turn on our proportional editing. Select those guys there and run it up. Just kind of give it a basic humanistic shaped head with kind of an extruded out lower mouth area. Kind of like a, I want to say almost like a monkey or something, but not quite. So it kind of looks like a little old man mixed with, I don't know, a monkey or something like that. Just really wrinkled little fella. Oops, let's turn on that clipping there. There we go. Scale this down, just move it over. And we're just getting a basic shape here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on the nose and mouth area. Tab into edit mode. And what I like to do is, when I'm box modeling, is I kind of give it a sort of a surgical mask type of shape. So that can be the, one thing I can do also is select all these guys back here and go ahead and hide those. So when we're working on the front, we don't have to worry about selecting them by accident. Now, I know you can turn the limit selection to visible off, but then sometimes you might get like a vertex that's kind of hidden behind some other ones that you're wanting to select, but you can't get it because it's not visible. So anyways, turn that off and boom, you can grab it. So I'm just going to undo all those. It'll let me. There we go. Okay, so anyways, so like I said, just hiding the background, or the back of the head, works a little better. So okay, so we're just kind of shaping out the muzzle area, if you will. Okay, and now we'll select all of these guys right here, and we're going to extrude once, and let's go ahead and turn off the proportional fall off right now. Just hit O on your keyboard. We'll scale this way down, bring it in here, and you know what, let's undo a couple of times. There we go. And I want to go ahead and add this row right here to my little surgical mask area, just so we have a little bit more to work with. Okay, so now we'll grab all these guys. Okay, now we'll extrude, scale it down. There we go. That'll give us a little bit more, like I said, more to work with once we get into the mouth area. I know it's getting pretty ugly right now, but don't worry, we'll clean that up. Scale that down a little further. Okay. And let's go ahead and scale it on the y-axis -1 time. To kind of give us an indentation there, and we can kind of treat that as the mouth. Speaking of, I guess we can scale it a little bit bigger on the x-axis there. This will be the mouth, area. And let's go ahead and start rotating it. Let's get the vertex select and grab these guys here. And turn the fall off back on. There we go. Not quite a smile, maybe even a little bit of a frown. Like I said, I know this is looking a little messy right now, but we'll get it cleaned up when we get a little further in here. Okay. So now we're going to control R right up here in our ugly area, and it'll give us our subdivider, our loop cut, basically. And before we click, if we scroll our mouse wheel up, it'll give us more subdivisions. You can put pretty much as many as you want in there. You don't want that many, though. Probably just 2 or 3 would be fine. Let's go with 3. And then just click. And now, if we hit W, smooth. Actually, let's select this loop here as well. Oops. Hold down Alt and Shift so we can select more than one. There we go. And now we will smooth. And it will kind of make that a little prettier there. Okay, just do that a few times until it looks right. Okay, so now we got a pretty decent topology around our mouth here. Let's go ahead and start shaping that up a little bit. Now let's go ahead and add the area for the nose. And that's going to be, we'll grab these guys here. Yeah, and let's say that one. And I'll extrude out. Gonna scale it down. And we'll extrude out again. Scale it down a couple more times. Okay, and then we'll go to top view, and we'll start making it a little skinnier. There we go. Okay, now I extruded out where the nostril was going to be also, and it followed along the whole length of the nose, so we don't want that. So let's go ahead and start shaping that up a little bit better. The easiest way to do that is just to select those rings, like right there, and then the tip, and W, smooth that a few times. Just keep going until it looks about right. And you know what, let's go ahead and turn on the smooth shading and go ahead and apply a subdivision surface. Kind of see a little better how it's looking here. And the smooth isn't working quite quickly enough, so I'll just grab those and move them in manually. And I think our nostril should probably come to about where that one is, but not really any further. So let's add a loop there, Control R, remember, and let's put it about right there, and let's grab these guys and move them in, about like so. And then let's add a loop right here. Kind of start shaping the lower part of the nostril. Sometimes you'll see that pop up, snap, and I do it a lot by accident, but I know what's causing it. I used to like, what am I doing to cause that? But it's Shift S brings that up on accident. So a lot of times if I'm selecting more than one vertex, I'll accidentally be holding Shift and I'll hit S to size it or something, and that'll pop up. So anyways, if you see that pop up, that's why. Okay. So we got basically the outer shape. Let's go ahead and, I think those nostrils might be coming out a little too far. Maybe the whole nose may be a little too big, but okay, that'll work. Let's go ahead and make the nostrils, the nostril holes. Okay, just grab those and extrude them in. Scale them down. And we'll extrude up again. Scale that down. And again, scale that down. There we go. Okay, now let's bring this part here. Let's rotate it along the should be y-axis, I think. Yeah. And then we'll just kind of just manually start shaping it up. Kind of get a nice flared shape here. I guess Shift G brings up the select similar that pops up sometimes too. Oops. I guess I hit H there and hid that. Yeah. Gotta watch those finger strokes sometimes. They'll confuse you if you're not paying attention. Let's make this whole area a little smaller here. Okay, so the nose is getting there. The top of it still needs some work, I think. Okay, and that'll work for now. Let's go ahead and go back down to the mouth and start. We're not going to do inside the mouth. This is just going to be a closed-mouthed little house elf. And he'll be really quiet. So let's kind of start sculpting out the lips. Let's turn on the keep the proportional editing on. We'll set it to connected, and that'll get only the vertices that are directly surrounding the one you've selected, rather than just the ones that are connected to the one directly surrounding that you're connected, if that makes sense. Okay, so we kind of got a nice basis for our lip shape here, but they're not quite sticking out far enough, so let's get this whole loop here. And just extrude out. And then we'll start sculpting it down, make it a little bit bigger. We'll select all those there and smooth those up as well here shortly. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, that's looking kind of silly right now, but still a work in progress, so. Okay, let's break out the Sculpt Tools, not for doing detail, but for cleaning some of this area up. We'll just get the grab tool and just start clicking and dragging in here to kind of shape this up a little bit more to our liking. I think this stroke needs to be set to airbrush. These house elves kind of have a really weak jaw and chin area. It looks like he's smiling, doesn't it? House elves aren't supposed to smile. Get that smile off of there. Smooth up the corners of the mouth. That'll help a little bit. Okay, let's go back into edit mode. Let's see if we can add a loop right here. How far is that going? I guess that'll be okay. And then one right there as well. Okay. So now, let's grab this whole mouth area here. Let's hit C on our keyboard and then just paint. Just click and drag all the way that we want there, and I don't want that one or that one. Okay. So now let's drag this out, increase our fall off there. Just drag those out and kind of twist them around. And let's add a couple extra loops. Let's add one right there. I don't think we can add one there. No. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. Drag that back in, then we'll add another one right there. And let's go ahead and pull a chin out for him. And let's go ahead and just go on the front view and go ahead and start making the hole. Excuse me. Sorry about that. My throat seems to be not cooperating with me today. Okay, that's looking pretty good, I guess. Let's go and grab the corner of the mouth and kind of start cleaning that back up some. Got the whole area kind of rough. Let's go ahead and W smooth that a little bit. Okay, that's starting to get where we want. I'd like to kind of puff the upper lip out a little bit. Maybe just kind of click and drag that. Oops, still on smooth. Need to get the grab tool, not the smooth. Kind of give him a little bit of a jowly look. Jowl. Loose jowls hanging out around the sides of his mouth. I know you're thinking we're going to put all this detail in with the Sculpt Tools later. Why are we spending so much time putting, moderate detail in right now? Well, the better base you have, the better you have, the fewer subdivisions you'll have to make with the multi-resolution tool when it comes time to start detailing. The fewer cuts you have to make, the fewer or the better your better Blender will perform. So anyways. Okay, let's go ahead and save this before something happens by accident. Save as. And let's see. We're going in House Elf. There we go. And this will be my third attempt at this. Or not attempt at this particular one, but my third play with. My third House Elf that I've been messing with. So save as. Third time's a charm. This one should turn out a lot better than the other ones. So, anyways, okay, so we got the nose and the mouth area pretty well set. Let's go ahead and jump back in and let's work on the eye area. So let's grab these guys here, and let's go ahead and turn off the proportional for now. Go ahead and extrude. Scale those down. Scale them on the Z-axis there. And actually, let's just scale them way down, and we'll do like we did on the mouth. Just add some extra loops in there when we get a little further ahead. And let's go ahead and see if we can't round this up some. So if we smooth, actually it's kind of squaring it up, isn't it? So let's do this manually. Let's grab all of them, scale them on the, and that one, scale them on the x-axis some, and then we'll start shaping this up to be an eye shape. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and try to clean some of this up over here. And maybe this guy, bring that over some more. Okay, so that looks pretty decent, I guess. Let's go ahead and select all those and those. And let's go ahead and extrude inwards once. And then let's do it again. Bring those in, and then we'll hit delete to delete those faces. And now let's go ahead and put an eyeball shape in there. Let's tab out and come into object mode. And we're going to shift S and snap our cursor to the center of our scene. Right there, you can see it. And now we're going to shift A, add a UV sphere, tab into edit mode, scale it down till it's about eyeball size. I guess these elves have a kind of a big eyeball, so we'll put it maybe about right there. And let's rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis. And we'll drag it up to its location that it needs to go, about right there. Let's go into side view, and we need to bring it forward. And about right there, maybe up a little bit. And maybe in some. Okay, there we go. So now, since we put our 3D cursor there in the center, and we added a sphere, and then went into edit mode and moved it around, its center is still on the center of the scene. So if you rotate it around, you see that it's not rotating around its center of the sphere, it's rotating around the center of the mesh model, which is, you know, where that little orange dot is right there that we centered on the cursor. So now if I go and add a mirror, it's going to put another eyeball right there directly on the other side, perfectly lined up the way it needs to be. So you don't have to, you know, put a sphere here and then shift D and drag it over like I've done in previous tutorials. This is kind of a better way to do that. So, excuse me. Anyways, so that's a quick way to do that. And we'll go ahead and shade it smooth. And we don't really need to add a subdivision surface to it. It's pretty smooth as is. So let's pop back to our head mesh, and let's start getting this eye socket shaped where it needs to go to fit the eyeball. I just selected all of those guys. I just brought them up to where they need to go to get a nice eyelid shape around our spheres that we added in there. Okay, it's starting to come together here. Okay, so that's pretty decent for now. We'll probably clean it up a little bit more later, but for now that'll work. Actually, want to just move this one in just a little bit more, and this one. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add those loops in here. Let's just add 2 of them for now. And let's go ahead and W, and let's select this guy as well. Okay, now W smooth those up, and we'll kind of start shaping this up a little bit better. Shift G gets aggravating sometimes. Let's go ahead and turn on the fall off again. O. start shaping this up. And just so you know, I'm not doing this completely out of my memory. I'm not that much of a nerd. Come on. I have a reference over on my other monitor that, due to copyright restrictions, I probably shouldn't show you, but you can find it easily enough if you do a Google search. So, anyways. Of course, I guess if you're building this, it doesn't have to look exactly like one of the ones in the Harry Potter movies. It can be your own. It could be the one that lives in your house or something. I don't know. Okay, now I want to give him a more distinguished, if that's the right word, a more prominent brow. So I'll just select all those guys. I'm going to extrude up, and then I'm going to Alt-S to scale those on their normals like so. And now I can try to smooth this area up a little bit more. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead and add another loop right here so I can add some definition right here under. Turn off the proportional fall off. Add some extra definition right here along the bottom of his eye. It's like he's got bags under his eyes. He's really sleepy. And we can accentuate that a lot more once we start adding the extra detail. Okay, this is looking okay, but I don't think his eyes are quite large enough, so I'm going to let's tab out of edit mode. Let's grab the sphere, go into edit mode, scale it up a little bit bigger. About like that, and let's move it. And let's move it forward some. There we go. And I'll grab the head model and just select all those guys. Make sure proportional fall off is back on. And let's scale it up, increase its influence, and let's move it forward. And maybe we'll rotate it a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do I want to try a little trick out. Oh, that's looking better already, isn't it? A little trick out here. I'll show you this. Just tab out of edit mode there. Select our sphere again. Tab into edit mode. And right now we're going to hit Shift S. We're going to do our cursor to selected. So it's going to center our cursor right there on our eyeball itself. Okay. And now we'll tab out, grab our head model back into edit mode. And I'd kind of like to give more space around the eyeball. For example, I'd like the eyelids to come a little further, to be wider. It's like the eyelid to come further back here. So I don't want to rotate everything. I just want to rotate part of it. So, since I've centered my 3D cursor right there on the eyeball itself, I'm now going to turn the pivot point to the 3D cursor. And I'm going to deselect these guys here. Actually, you know what I want to do? Let's rotate in some first, like so. And now I'll deselect those. And why not the middle ones as well? And then with our fall off turned on, when we rotate out, we can increase the fall off. And we've just succeeded in widening our eyeball area. So there we go. So that's looking pretty nice, and I hit Alt-A by accident. There we go. Okay, so this is looking a little bit better. Go ahead and save. And let me see what this looks like with the two subdivisions of the subsurf. Yeah, that looks better. So now we need to clean up some around here. Let's go ahead and get the sculpt mode. Go into the smooth, and let's touch up this eyebrow area a little bit. That's a little too strong, isn't it? Let's turn the strength down. Let's just gently touch it up. Maybe it's still too strong. And let's get the grab. And it's starting to come through the eyeball there, so let's go ahead and pull that out. Let's pull this cheekbone area out just a little bit. One thing you can do when you're pushing and pulling, so you know exactly where you can click to get the best grip on your grab, is to go to your object tools and scroll down here where it says display and turn on wire. And then we'll want to go back to our modifiers and set our subsurf to optimal display. And then this kind of just gives us a general view of where all of our vertices are, so we can grab a little bit better. Maybe this needs to come back some. Thinking maybe the eyes need to go up a little bit further, so let's do that. Let's grab all of that area there, and fall off is on, and let's just G on the Z axis, and let's scroll down the influence just a little bit. Let's go ahead and select the eyebrow area as well, like so. Okay, and now we'll just move it up some, and maybe back a little bit. Okay, and now we'll get back to object mode, select the eyeballs, and do the same thing with those, up and back a little bit. Might need to move them in some too, so let's go into edit mode and kind of, there we go. Okay, now I think I want to widen the mouth up a little bit, so let's grab our model there and select everything around the mouth. Let's deselect these guys, C, and then hold down Alt to deselect. Okay, now proportional editing is on, scale on the X-axis. Oops, got to deselect around up here. There we go. Scale on the X-axis and set back to median point. There we go. Drag it out some. Okay. So it's looking a little weird, more like maybe a Rumpelstiltskin or something rather than an elf, but we're still working on it, don't worry. Let's add a subdivision right there. I'll give this some more definition around this area. And let's do the same thing here. Nah, I'm not going to do that one. Looks like we got some strangeness brewing right there. Let's go ahead and grab our sculpt mode. Let's go ahead and grab our smooth tool. Touch this up a little bit in here. Okay. Get our grab tool. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. I think I might be spending a little too much time here on the face. We need to get on with it and start doing the ears, maybe the throat and shoulder area. It's just going to be a bust, by the way. It's not going to be a full-fledged model. It's kind of give you an idea of, you know, how to do your basic model first, and then go on and do the detail after you get the basic shape down. Now you can go in and start off sculpting if you like with just like a cube. Just go in there and just start kind of sketching with the Sculpt tool, and you can really probably come up with something pretty cool. But this technique here will kind of keep you from having to. Uh-oh, what's this? Oh, I subdivided earlier and that part was hidden. So let's unhide that. And quick way to fix this, because you know we don't want triangles. Let's select those guys, delete the edges there, and these guys as well. Delete those edges. Okay, that's good. And now we'll select all those guys and then all those guys. What I did was just held on Alt and Shift and Control, and I selected those. Now we'll do W and we'll subdivide. And now we can just select those edges. Boom, face, hit F. Select that, Shift, select that, face, F, Shift, F. There we go, F. There we go. That's cleaned up. Piece of cake. Okay, let's go ahead and save. And let's add a little bit more detail to the face, then we'll move on to the ears. Let's add a loop here, right in there, and kind of start messing with the brow area. You know what, let's do. I know this is supposed to be like a fairly low resolution version of the model, but these house elves have, good lord, quit popping up, have some wrinkles, quite a few wrinkles, so let's accentuate those. Let's grab these guys here and let's turn off proportional editing, and we'll extrude just a little bit, and then Alt S to scale that down some. Not a lot, just a little bit, and then do the same thing here. Extrude out, Alt S, and maybe we'll raise it up some. And let's do it one more, maybe a couple more times. Extrude that out, Alt S. And let's do it, yeah, just one more time. Extrude out. Okay. You know what, let's go ahead and turn off our wireframe view there. And now we got some relatively decent forehead wrinkles. We'll have to clean them up some. Let's go ahead and do that and get our smooth tool. Certainly want to smooth up the edges there. And this will look a lot better once we start sculpting for real. Get our grab tool. Try to get these eyebrows to look exactly the way I want. Maybe we need to add another. I was gonna say add another loop in there, but I don't really see if that would help anything. Let's try it out. Let's add a loop right to there, and then we'll just drag it in. This will kind of separate the eyeball, the eyelids from the surrounding area there. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, I think. Well, if I can grab something, there we go. I'd like to go ahead and add another loop right here, just so we have a sharper edge to our eyelids. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It's not perfect, but like I said, once we start adding in the extra detail, it's really gonna start taking shape then. And once we get the rest of the head shape the way it should be. And let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to work on the neck real quick. Select all these guys here. And I guess these guys too. And maybe these guys. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll extrude out. Way down. And bring it in. Let's scale it some. And then bring it in. Just got it on the Z-axis. 0%. Flatten it out there. And let's go ahead and delete those faces there so we have a nice clean cut. Then I'll select this loop and W, smooth a few times just to get a nice more rounded shape. And let's go ahead and turn on the proportional editing. And I'm going to grab this, drag it down, and kind of just give it a basic, give it that nice bust, you know, shoulders and neck shape. We'll go ahead and add a few loops in here. Control R, scroll the mouse wheel. And let's grab all those and we'll Alt S, scale those down, and then bring them in. Scale them. Alt S scales along the normals, so. Okay, maybe it's quite a bit too long, so I'll select everything here, drag it up, increase our fall off as we're going. Let me just select this layer here. There we go. And like I said before, you can kind of think of this as kind of a little old man, so all the wrinkles and boniness and everything that you'd see a little old man or a little old woman, all that you'd see that they would have, you can apply it to this model here. So it's starting to take shape. Go ahead and save. And grab tool still selected. Let's go ahead and start cleaning up the rest of the head. We'll add our ears here shortly. Go ahead and clean this nose up a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty decent for now. I think I might be running out of time, so I think I'm going to call this part 1 done. Yes, it's going to be a multi-part series yet again. So I think I'll call this part done as soon as I can stop messing with it. And then on part 2, we'll go ahead and get in and do the ears, and then maybe see how much time we have. Then maybe we'll go ahead and get in and start adding all the extra detail. So, okay, save that guy, and that's going to be the end of part 1. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in part 2.